Hi everyone, I'm Tonya and this is What's Up Doc. Today we spoke about nutrition. I had the opportunity to sit with Megan Martin, who's a nutrition consultant, and she gave us some valuable information about meal prepping, cheat days, planning, diet, and so much more here on What's Up Doc. Thank you so much for joining us today. Can you tell us a little bit about what it means to be a nutritionist?
Oh my goodness. What it means for me to be a nutritionist is just trying to incorporate whole foods in my lifestyle. It means trying to help other people understand what it means to eat whole foods and how it's going to benefit and uplift your life way beyond just weight loss.
Yeah, so nutrition actually has become a lot more popular as time progresses because people are now starting to understand the importance of a healthy diet.
Definitely.
It's common everywhere you look, you're seeing tips and, but you actually took it into a career.
Yes.
So tell me, what drove that passion for you to actually become and decide to be a nutritionist?
This is something that really I did not give much thought to. Ever since I was young, I really loved cooking. I used to watch Food Network instead of Disney Channel.
Yeah.
And I always thought that I was going to go into culinary. And life has its way where it takes you on the path that you don't even know you're supposed to be on.
Yeah.
And when I was deciding to do my degree, I just chose to do nutrition with not any heavy thoughts on it.
Yeah.
As I got into it, I found myself gaining so much energy from learning what I was doing, and it just felt like this was right for me.
Right.
And I continued and I did a certificate in health coaching, and that really helped me understand how to relate it on a human level, because when you do it in school, it's really science heavy, and it's hard to describe what nutrition is to somebody who doesn't know the science side of it. So the health coaching really helped with that, and it just made me feel like this is my path. I feel like I'm on my path, and it's going to change and grow, but I feel really happy with doing the nutrition.
So you mentioned whole foods. What exactly do you mean by that?
It's really simple. I think whole foods is just that single ingredient. It's not when you have potato chips should be potatoes, not like cornstarch and all of those additives.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just a single ingredient.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really simple.
Right. So you have a business called Hello Nutrients. Right. What exactly does your business entail?
Okay, so Hello Nutrients is my baby. I started this business 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And when I started in the industry, I would have to say that health was not something that was heavily sought after. And when I started, I think that it came with a really negative name towards it, because healthy was associated with diets, was associated with weight loss, associated with restriction. And learning that, I felt that's when my passion started to grow, because I understood nutrition and eating healthy as something that's like good for you and makes you feel good, whereas there was a disconnect with what people thought healthy was, that it's restrictive and you have to suffer to be healthy and you torture yourself and eat foods that you don't like. And so that's really where my passion grew. I thought that it was necessary to change the face of healthy. It's not fair for good food to be treated so badly. And so I started my business doing just that, making healthy food delicious and desirable and accessible to many people as I could reach. And I have to safely say within my 3 years, I did accomplish that.
Wow.
I think I definitely made healthy food way more desirable. And my business is me. So as I'm growing and changing, my business is going to grow and change with me.
Of course.
Yeah. So it's really exciting to see that journey and to see the movement of Hello Nutrients.
Yeah.
So it is based on trying to change the face of healthy and trying to help other people understand what healthy really means. And I think that it goes much deeper than just eating well and exercise. Healthy has to do with how good you feel at work and how good you feel in your relationships, and goes much deeper than that.
I'm really glad you said not restrictions, because years ago we would think when you have to be healthy or when you have to diet, you just eat a salad.
Yeah.
And then you starve for the whole day and you're grumpy.
Absolutely.
And I just love the fact that nutritionists and people like yourself are now incorporating being full and
Satisfied.
having wholesome
Yeah.
food and still being healthy.
Absolutely.
So one thing that I've found in recent times that has become very popular is meal prepping.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've tried it myself, been total disaster at it.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's something that's difficult if you don't have the right guidance.
Right.
What are some of your tips in terms of how do you meal prep and how do you stick to it?
Okay, so what I would say is meal prep to me means not spending hours in the kitchen every single day to have a meal. It means not buying food out every single day, and it means not skipping meals because you don't have food available to you. What I would say a tip for meal prepping is definitely it's something you have to plan. And we have so many resources online. You could just go on Pinterest and type out healthy meals for a week and you get an entire menu, you get an entire grocery list, you just go and get those things. And it's important when you do go to your grocery and you're picking up those things that you avoid the things that you know aren't good for you, because once you take it home, you're going to have it.
You're going to have it, right? It's in the fridge.
Of course, you know it's there.
Yeah, yeah.
So that would be one tip. Another thing I think is sometimes a big thing that I've seen is meal prep Sundays, you know? If you feel as though Sunday is the day that you want for yourself and it becomes a burden to have to meal prep on that day because you're taken away from your rest time, then don't schedule it on a Sunday.
Yeah.
If you know that maybe Wednesdays you have a lighter day at work, you know, Monday and Tuesday you killed it at work, Wednesday you leave work a little bit more energized, then schedule your meal prep for Wednesday, you know? A lot, you time slot that time to do it. And when you have energy, because if you're putting something that you have to do as more of a task, when you're tired, it's more difficult. It seems more daunting to get done, you know?
Absolutely. I actually love that tip because, you know, you kind of think you have to meal prep on a Sunday.
Yeah.
But it's not always the most enjoyable thing on a Sunday. Yeah.
So once you meal prep on a Wednesday, you have food till next Wednesday. And meal prep doesn't have to be you portion every single meal. You could bulk meal prep. So you could just cook maybe 2 proteins for the week and 2 carbs and 2 sides and a big salad. And you choose from those things, you mix and match, and you get different meals. And my last tip for that would be is include who lives with you, include your family. If you have kids, get your kids to peel the carrots, peel the potatoes. If your husband is around or you live with your spouse, you know, ask him to handle the meat and you just do the sides. It doesn't have to be all task on you, you know?
Yeah, you make it a fun family activity, or if you're not at home with family, make it just a fun activity at home.
You can call your friends over and be like, hey guys, I'm cooking today, come help me, I'll give you a meal. You know?
Yeah, I'm gonna try that. But I wanna get into what you mean by carbohydrates, fats, proteins, and portions. How much of that you should take in order to get in a proper balanced meal. But before we get into that, we'll take a quick break. Welcome back. We're here with Megan Martin. She's a nutritionist and she's giving us some really good tips about healthy eating. So Megan, we hear about carbohydrates, we hear about proteins, we hear about all these different things. And we also hear about the word balanced meal. Now the word balance is not, it's a lot simpler than it sounds. What does a balanced meal mean? And how does it differ for different people and different individuals?
Okay, sure. I think the easiest way I can find to describe this is to look at a plate. So if you want to look at your plate, I would always say divide your plate in 2. Half your plate, veggies. Veggies are low-calorie foods. You can literally eat as many as you want and be within a calorie deficit, you know? So half your plate veggies, and then you split the other half between carbohydrates and protein. Whether you are a plant protein eater or an animal protein eater, it really doesn't matter. Once you have half your plate as veggies, then you split the other half with carbs and protein, and you try to include some healthy fats in that. How I would say it could differ for different people is your goals, and then your dietary choice. So I mentioned plant and animal protein, so that's a way that it can differ. And then for your goals, if you're somebody that wants weight loss, this is a general rule of thumb because it is very specific to individuals. So if you're doing weight loss, you do half your plate veggies and you do about 1/4 to 1/3 cup of brown carbs, healthy carbs, brown rice, whole wheat pasta, quinoa, sweet potato, anything that you like. And then you do about 4 ounces of protein, animal protein, plant protein, really doesn't matter. If you are someone who's just looking for health and just maintenance, you do that half your plate veggies, you do about 1/3 to 1/2 a cup of carbs, and then 4 ounces of protein. And if you're trying to gain weight, you do your half plate of veggies, you can do up to a cup to 1.5 cups of carbs, and maybe 4 to 6 ounces of protein.
Right.
Yeah.
That is actually quite a good tip, because you're able to visualize what you put in the plates, as opposed to somebody telling you put 4 ounces.
Exactly.
Versus, so that's a really nice tip to take away that I'm going to try as well.
Definitely. And what I'd add to that is, when you do put your plate out, you're putting half your plate of veggies. When you're taking out food, take out your veggies first. Take out your protein next, and whatever's left, you put your carbs on the plate. And when you're eating, eat that way too. Eat your veggies first, eat your protein, and you can eat your carbs last.
So you're full.
Exactly.
Right.
I don't want to hear that, oh gosh, my plate is too big, I'm full, and the whole salad is still there.
Yeah. I mean, we're all guilty of doing that.
Of course.
So what about cheat meals? You hear the word cheat meal. And is that something that you think is mentally healthy to think about? And if you do think so, what does that mean for anybody? What should you consider or think about when you think of a cheat meal?
Okay, so I'm gonna spin this question right back on you.
Yeah.
Tell me what would you consider like a cheat day, or what you think is like a cheat meal? How does it work for you?
So a cheat meal for me would be things that I consider that I'm not actually thinking of a healthy, balanced diet. So whatever my mind feels like having at the time. So for example, if I feel like having a pizza, I'm going to have the whole pizza.
Yeah.
That for me is a healthy meal. I mean, a cheat meal.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Is that what you would think of when you think of a cheat meal?
For sure. So I think that this is my personal opinion, and of course everybody functions differently, and so if you feel as though a cheat meal at the end of a healthy week is a good goal to keep you motivated, and that works for you, like wonderful, all for it. But for me, I think that the cheat meal and the cheat day stemmed from having those restricted diets. So when you are like depriving yourself of certain foods, of course you're going to be craving that cheat meal, that food that you feel like you can't have. Tell me, why can't you have pizza and feel good about it? You can totally make a whole wheat pizza, cauliflower crust. There's so much that you can do. Just add a little bit more veggies. You still have your pepperoni if you like that, or your ham and pineapple. Like, that's okay. You can have your cheat meal, but make it healthy. What I would say I don't believe in cheat day, because I think that sounds kind of scary to me. What if that means you wake up and you have ice cream for breakfast, and then for lunch you have, like you said, like a whole pizza, and then dinner you go into bed with fried chicken and chips. It's like you can't feel good at the end of the day eating like that, even if the next day you're going to go back on track. What I would recommend if you are having a cheat day is, one, actually, before I say that, as tips, what I would say is you have to ask yourself a question. You have to ask yourself, is my diet something that's depriving me? So that's why you feel like you need a cheat meal. You don't have to have a cheat meal if your diet is inclusive of foods that you like. And then the other question you have to ask yourself is, how strong-minded am I? Is it that when I have that cheat meal, I'm going to spiral downwards and have another meal and have another cheat meal and a cheat week and a cheat month, and you just come totally off track? Or is it that you're really strong-minded and when you have that food, it makes you feel good and gives you that willpower to continue along your week? But if you are someone that needs to have a cheat meal, what I would recommend is try to make your cheat meal at home. If you can make your fried chicken and chips at home, it's going to be way better for you than if you were to buy it out. We really don't know what is behind the kitchen in those fast food places,
Absolutely.
It can be scary.
Absolutely.
And then my other tip would be schedule it wisely. So if you think your Friday is your cheat meal day, does Friday lead to Saturday being a cheat day and Sunday being a cheat day and the rest of the week being a cheat day? Or if maybe you schedule it on a Sunday evening, you have your cheat meal on a Sunday evening, and you know you're back on track Monday
morning.
You know,
Yeah,
it's easier to
yeah.
not fall into a loophole. Yeah.
I actually love that you said that.
Yeah.
Because that's something that I try to tell people as well in terms of your cheat day and your cheat meal. I mean, I'm guilty as well
Yeah.
of taking a day and just having everything I feel that makes me uncomfortable and just you know, things that...
Splurging.
And exactly, splurging. But if you do, as you said, eat healthily, wisely, and just kind of make yourself happy while you do it,
100%.
there would not be need for that cheat day.
Exactly. Personally, I don't restrict myself. Anybody who knows me, I love chocolate. Like, it's my weakness. It is my weakness. I can't lie.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to feel guilty if I have a piece of chocolate every single day, because I know that throughout my day, I am eating enough fiber. I'm taking as many like nutrients from my veggies, my fruits. I'm balancing my meals. And so if every single day I want a piece of chocolate, I can feel good about that, you know?
So, I mean, I'm a fellow chocolate lover.
Yeah.
So that just is amazing to hear. And I think there are a lot of people out there who have things that they love that they would love to just kind of just feel less guilty.
Yeah, you can
about
totally
doing
incorporate
things
the foods that you love
Yeah.
in a healthy diet.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you have to
Yeah.
eliminate all the things that like. And there's like food, and then there's soul food, you know? Things that make you feel good deeper than just nourishing your body.
Correct.
Where you look in the mirror and you look at yourself and you can't fit in your pants, and like, oh, I hate my body, I hate how I look, I don't feel good, I need to go on a diet so I could feel better about myself. That's a really negative way to think, to come into it. And it's going to be hard to stay motivated on such a negative way.
So I'm just going to finish up by asking you a little bit about your experience with clients. So describe a transformation that you've possibly seen in someone who maybe thought that they needed to be on a restrictive diet, or probably had a very unhealthy diet, and then either took your advice or your meals and changed. What did you notice in them, and what was that experience like for you and for them?
Oh, that's a really lovely question. Because I really, my heart is with every single one of my clients. I appreciate all of them, and it means a lot to me. I think my main part of my business is to grow with clients and to see them grow and love themselves more, you know?
Yeah.
I think that, so I had this client, and she was with her boyfriend at the time, and he would always cook. And he only liked white carbs and meat. So that's all she ended up eating. And she started slowly not recognize, like, you don't even know when weight starts to come on, you know, until like months later, you're 20 pounds heavier. You don't realize the little 1 pound.
Yeah.
So she started gaining weight. But before she even started gaining weight, she just stopped going out. She stopped getting dressed up, looking nice for herself, going out with her girls. She started telling herself that she's an introvert. She doesn't like to go out and see people. She just likes to stay at home and munch on the couch. You know, and that affects your personal relationship with yourself, and then your relationship with all of those around you. And when you're not able to be your full self, it's difficult to feel good about other areas of your life, like your job and all of that. So for her, she came to me. And she was like, I am done eating meat, I want to do vegetarian. So I said, sure, you can totally do that. Let's do it healthy, and let's coax you into it, because we don't want to like shock your body too much. We planned a diet for her, which was exactly like what I said. It would be half the plate veggies, about a quarter cup of healthy carbs, and she would do vegetarian plant protein or fish. And within 3 months, she was like, told me, she's messaging her friends, she wants to go out, you know. She saw small changes in her body, but it's changes that you feel from the inside before you see it physically. And she lost, I really can't remember how much, but if you go on my Instagram, I have a post of this specific client. And her body is banging after like 3 months of just eating healthy. And then after those 3 months, she gained the confidence to go to the gym. And that's where like her progress really started to move forward, you know. So it really uplifts, like eating healthy, you start to feel good on the inside. It's like, you know, when you complete that workout that you didn't want to do and you look at yourself in the mirror and you are seeing those ab lines. Nobody else is seeing it. It's not really there, but you see it. Your perception changes of yourself. It's a similar thing when you eat healthy for a longer period of time. It's like your perception of self changes. And I think that that's maybe the most important part of changing your diet and choosing to eat healthy. And like one more thing that I want to say is, when you are choosing to eat healthy or you're choosing to change your diet or your lifestyle, it's really important to ask yourself, why and where is this coming from? Is it coming from a place where you look in the mirror and you look at yourself and you can't fit in your pants? You're like, oh, I hate my body. I hate how I look. I don't feel good. I need to go on a diet so I could feel better about myself. That's a really negative way to think, to come into it. And it's going to be hard to stay motivated on such a negative way. Compared to if you look at yourself in the mirror, maybe you're not pleased with how your body looks, your clothes is fitting, but you look at yourself and you're like, you know what, I love myself, I deserve to eat better, I deserve to look and feel the way that I want to, and so I'm coming from this with a place of love and understanding and compassion, you know, and that's going to be much easier to stay motivated and to remind yourself, okay, I don't need that piece of cake today, you know? So, yeah.
So the changes come from inside out.
100%.
And from a place of love and compassion
100%.
And just general positivity.
I agree, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So if you were to leave us with one tip, Megan, just about nutrition and about healthy eating and about dieting or anything, what would it be?
Well, I think I gave away my one tip there.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
you did. So if you had to tell us just one positive line, one positive thought, what would it be?
I mean, just to say again, you know, it's just really to come from a place of love and compassion. We are all going through different phases of our life, and we need to learn to be graceful with ourselves. You know, change doesn't happen overnight. Your body didn't transform in a way that you don't like overnight. It happened over time, and so people are always quick to jump on these fad diets to get quick results, but you don't recognize that those things are hurting you more than doing you any benefit. So what I would recommend is do your research, try to be as planned as you can. Do things when you have energy. No, you're not when you're feeling low, when you're feeling good about yourself. You spend the time to write out a menu for the week, or you go to the grocery at that time. And I think a big thing too is support. Like, you get the support of your friends around you, your family around you. And if you need more help, you know, you reach out there. Dietitians, nutritionists, health coaches. It's so many things available to you to help you have a cheerleader in your corner.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Megan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much,
You
Tanya.
have actually inspired me.
Awesome.
So I'm confident that you've inspired many, many other people out there.
That's so good to
And
know.
I think that we together as a nation and as people and as individuals, we could encourage each other to eat healthier for not only for ourselves, but for others
Those around us.
and for our future, because healthy eating means, as you said, from the inside out.
100.
And it predicts a much more positive future for yourself and your health.
Definitely.
So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
That was Megan, a nutritionist, and I hope that you had some very, very great tips from her. I certainly have. Join us again on What's Up Doc.